For those of you that love the fall season as much as I do, get ready for this video. As part of the Gina K Designs August release, I'm going to show you how to create colorful fall backgrounds. They'll complement your focal point and get you ready for the upcoming fall season. Who's ready? Hi, it's Colleen and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button and you'll never miss another one of my videos. Thanks for joining me today. So here are two of the stamp sets that are part of Gina K Designs August release, and I'm going to talk a little bit about them today. The first one is called Bloom and Grow, and it comes with layered sunflowers in two different sizes, leaves and foliage, and you can either layer your stamps or you can color the outline. And it also comes with two different sizes of diamonds that can be used to create a beautiful background. And this stamp set does come with matching dies. The second one here is a beautiful 6x8 incised thank you greetings stamp set. There's all kinds of greetings on here, from general thank you greetings to happy Thanksgiving friend, and they come in different sizes and fonts, so you can have a lot of fun with a stamp set like this. This is something you could use in your everyday stash. Now, I'm going to show you a few of the cards that I made before we move on to our technique. The first one here uses the diamond backgrounds and the two sunflowers that were stamped with the layers and the thanks a lot sentiment from the thank you greetings. And I really like how that turned out. I think it's a very pretty fall color card. This one's similar to the first card, only I stamped an entire background using the two diamonds. And then I stamped the outline of the sunflower in black and took the sentiment thank you, cut it in half, and put it below and above the flower just to help the flower be the central focus. The next one might be one of my favorites because I did a classic Gina K design technique with the ink blending, and I added a gorgeous thank you for always being there sentiment in that beautiful font. And then I added two of the small flowers. I stamped them over an alcohol ink blended background that I had on stash, and that was it to that card. It was really easy. This one is a similar version, only it uses the Master Layout 7, which is a mini slimline release that came out last month from Gina K Designs. And I stamped that sunflower on an alcohol inked background. And then I added a sentiment from the freebie incentive from last month. I love how that turned out. This one, I did some masking and stamping of two sunflowers, and then I colored them in with my Copic marker. So I only stamped the outline of the sunflower and the outline of the leaf, so I could color them in. And then if you look closely, I stamped the outline of the small flower to create a very subtle background behind my sunflowers. And I really love how that turned out. It just adds a little bit of depth to that card. And the last one simply uses the Happy Thanksgiving Friend stamp and matching die, and I placed it over a Gina K Designs pattern paper. There were two different patterns, and that was all there was to this card. How simple was that? So today we're going to focus on three different backgrounds, and I want to show you the different ways that you can create beautiful, beautiful backgrounds for your cards for the fall season. So the first one uses two of Gina's stamps, Innocent Pink and Moonlight Fog. I'm not sure why I picked those. I just thought those colors were very pretty together. And what I'm doing is I'm taking the larger diamond and lining it up on my Misty so that the bottom point and the left point were touching the end of the Misty. And then I stamped it in the pink. And I'm going to keep doing this. And what I'm doing is making sure that the points on the bottom and on the left side match up with the other diamond. And that is my way of keeping this as straight as possible. Now, you could go in and draw some pencil lines if you would like to, so that you can be sure that you've got your diamonds lined up properly. I'm not one to get into that kind of detail, so I kind of eyeball it and try to line up the points of the diamonds to get it as close as I possibly can. And this stamp is meant to be a little more grungy anyway. It's not as clean of a stamp as some other geometric stamps. So you could probably get away with just eyeballing this to make sure that it's as straight as can be. One thing I did notice as I started to stamp this was that I used too small of a MISTI, and I really needed to use a bigger MISTI. So you're going to see me in a minute that I will be switching MISTIs. Oh well, it still looks good. It's just that with this mini MISTI, you don't have as much room to move that card panel around for when you want to stamp off of the page. So now I'm going in with the smaller diamond, and I'm going to fill in the white areas that are left on the card panel. And I'm going to stamp that in the Moonlit Fog, which is a very pretty shade of gray. And the pink and gray is a really subtle pattern and color that you can use for a background. Honestly, if you do a background like this, you could probably just use one of the stamps from the Thank You Greeting stamp set and put that over it, and you're done. And here, you can see here that I had to switch up my MISTI and get the bigger size out so that I could stamp the areas that were going off of the card panel. And I'm continuing on here by filling up my page with my diamonds. It takes a little bit of time, but it's really, to me, it's well worth it because, you know, you're getting a really unique background out of it, and I really like that. I like that Gina included this in her stamp set because not only can you play with the flowers and create a background with the flowers, but you can also get kind of a geometric look like this with the two diamonds that are included in the stamp set. And I personally like to use as much of the stamp set that I can. I really try to get as much use out of it as I can, and I try to show that to you so that you can walk away with some really good ideas on how you can maximize the use of your stamp set. My philosophy is if you can find 5 ways to use it, then you've got yourself a good stamp set. And I think with this stamp set, Bloom and Grow, you will definitely find more than 5 ways to use this one. That's the beauty of Gina K's releases, is she's very clever in putting a well-coordinated stamp set together. So this one is finished, and once again, I'm going to show you the finished product on the left and how I completed that. So now that that's done, let's go on to the second background. This background is similar to the first one, only it's going to be more centralized around the 2 sunflowers. So what you're going to see me do here is I'm going to place my sunflower where I want it in the card, and then I'm placing that diamond stamp over the flower. So now I pick it up with my MISTI, remove the flower, and then I stamp it right onto the cardstock. And then I flip the card around and do the same thing on the other side. This is a really easy technique. So now I'm done with that piece, and I'm going to come in with a smaller diamond and add that. Do the same thing. I'm going to put the flower back where I want it, place that diamond where I would like to see it peeking out from behind the flower, and then I remove the flower and stamp the diamond. So putting the flower on there first really kind of helps me visualize how I want the diamonds and the foliage to peek out from behind the flower. So that's why I put the flower on there, because I'm a visual person and it helps me to see how this lines up. So now I'm coming in there with the 2 leaves that are in the stamp set, and I'm going to stamp those as well. And I'm using all kinds of beautiful colors here that I think are really, really pretty for fall to stamp my foliage and my diamonds. So again, repeating the pattern again. This is really quite easy once you get the system down. Now I'm coming in with a smaller leaf and I'm going to stamp that using the same process. Flip the card around and stamp it on the other side because I'm going to be putting 2 flowers on there, so they're pretty much going to measure up to the background and peek out nicely from the background. Then I decided to add one more little bit of foliage just to kind of elongate the background a bit. And then that's it for this background. I will be ready to put my flowers on there when this is finished. And there you have it. It doesn't look like much there, but when you put your flowers over it, it's very, very pretty and it complements the flowers nicely. So that's background number 2. Now we're going to go into background number 3, which is my favorite background. I learned it from Gina K herself. We're using all 5 of these colors here and the Gina K Designs blending brushes, which are amazing. And the first step is to tear off some purple tape. Now, what I will be doing here with this purple tape is what I learned from Gina. Purple tape is great for masking, but I'm adding another edge to the masking. I am going to tear the edge off unevenly and then add this onto the card base, and I'm going to be creating a rectangle using the jagged edges of the purple tape. Now you see me running that tape off my arm. That's to remove some of the stickiness. And if that looks painful to you, which it really wasn't, but if it looks painful to you, then don't use your arm, use your shirt. And then just tap it against your shirt a couple times to remove a bit of the stickiness, because what that will do is reduce the risk of you tearing your paper when you remove the purple tape. I learned that from Gina too. So now I have my rectangle. It's nice and jagged and very cool looking, and I'm ready to do some ink blending. So Gina K Designs blending brushes are labeled with the color on there. So you can see that little pink spot on there. That lets you know that you can use all pink colors for that one blending brush. And that really helps you to keep your colors from turning to mud if you start mixing different colors. So now you see I'm coming in with a blending brush that has a yellow mark on it for my yellow ink. Now what I do when I'm ink blending is I try to run my second color a little bit into my first color to try to create a third color. Then I go back with my other previous color and add a little more blending to try to keep the 2 colors running smooth against each other. So now I'm coming in with my third color and I'm going to repeat the same process. I'm going a little bit into the yellow with my orange to create another color. Then I go back with my orange and blend it in. And then I can go on to my next color. I really love how well these blending brushes work. They're smooth and they give a really good blend. Now, the funnest part here is when I take the purple tape off. That is awesome to see. And I'm going to show you in just a minute how cool that looks. I'm almost done blending and now I'm ready to take off the purple tape. And here's the surprise. Look at those cool jagged edges. I just think that is a unique look. It just takes your card from average to wow just by doing something simple like that. Here's the finished card next to it. And there you have it. Here's the other version of it. I did the same thing, only on the mini slimline. So here are all the cards that I made. I showed you 3 backgrounds today. Here's another background that we didn't get to today, but that's the one where you can just stamp the flower, the little flower in a very light color around the back of your larger sunflower and just give yourself a nice little subtle background. And don't fill it up too much, just a little bit will do you. And that's it for today's tutorial. I'm glad you came by today. Gina K Designs August release is live now. You click on the link in my profile in the description box to shop. And thank you for stopping by today.